Hey guys, this is a video I'm recreating. Last time I made this was in 2020 and it is to help you decide a career path by choosing either ACCA, CFA or CPA with their differences and what is the right choice for you. So let's jump right into it. First of all guys, if this is the first time you're watching our channel, then please do click subscribe, and as always, if you find value in this video, give us a thumbs up. Now, the biggest concern most students have, it doesn't matter what your age is, right? I'm talking whether you're just completing school, you've just given your grade 12 and you're about to enter undergrad college, you've completed your graduation, you feel you're too late, or you might be a working professional, maybe a chartered accountant, or maybe not clearing chartered accountant and figuring what's your next best alternative. The most common question that we get, and we've been getting this for years, is should I do ACCA, CFA or CPA? And most people don't even know the differences, forget how to make a decision by themselves. So I'm going to try and help you out. So first of all, what is ACCA? Now ACCA is a qualification that is like a chartered accounting. It covers all the same subjects that you've typically heard a CA covering, everything in finance, accounts, costing, financial management, taxation, audit, even business. And it's applicable not only in India, but across the globe, especially in countries such as UK, Singapore, Dubai, Canada, Australia. Next, what is CFA? Now, CFA is the #1 qualification in the field of finance and investment management. So let's say you love the stock markets, or you love how to manage money. You want to get into what we call portfolio management, where you want to take people's money as clients, invest it in the best potential places and give them an extremely high return. At least that's the field you want to get into. That's what CFA is all about. It's recognized across the globe, with its headquarters, the CFA Institute, being in the US. And finally, what is CPA? CPA is the US Chartered Accounting. You must have heard about Indian CA, obviously, by the ACCA body, we call it. If you want to go to the US, or you want to work in India, in US companies, or in fact, you want to go anywhere in the world and work for US companies, because there are a ton of opportunities over there, you do CPA, because it's the most recognized, in fact, it's the highest recognized program when it comes to chartered accounting, but in the US. So ACCA is the Association of Chartered Certified Accountants, CFA is the Chartered Financial Analyst, and CPA is the Certified Public Accountants. Now that you have an introduction of this, it should ideally be the first way you decide. However, I know most students, will end up deciding with other factors such as how expensive is it, how easy is it, how much time will it take. And let me sort of tell you that, because if you guys are not able to decide based on the introduction of these programs, it's absolutely fine. Many students are confused. I'll help you with a technical way. The good part is that, in 5-10 years, right, whichever qualification you cover, as long as you are working well, over time you learn the same things over every other qualification. So it's important just at the beginning. It's important if you know the distinction, but if you are not, don't be confused. As I take you to the rest, you'll get the understanding of what you should decide. Second step, eligibility. Now here is where the practicalness comes into play. If you are, let's say you've just given grade 12, for example, you cannot do CPA. You can only do ACCA, and you can start studying for CFA, because the eligibility for ACCA starts, you can start ACCA at any point, right from school, right from grade 9 or 10. We have students in grade 10 who've been picking it up and completing it at a super fast pace. So that's ACCA, and you can do it, of course, anywhere, anytime after 10th, after 12th, in college, after college, during your working life. You can do ACCA at any point of time. CFA. Now CFA has recently, like a couple of years back, they've changed the eligibility criteria, and you can do it in your second last year of graduation. Which means if you are doing a 3-year BCom, you can give the exam in your second year, which means you can start studying in your first year. If you are an engineer and you have a 4-year graduation degree, you can give the exam in your third year. And CPA. Now CPA is a little tricky. I'm going to try and simplify it. Long story short, you need to have, of course, a graduation degree. If you have a postgraduate like an MBA or a MCom, that's even better. But if you don't, we have a system where you can take something called a bridge course, because CPA requires you to have a graduation and a little more. That little more can be MCom, can be if you're a CA. But if you are neither, then we will help you with something called a bridge course, and then you can start your CPA. But yes, you at least need to be a graduate in this case. By the way, if you are still keen for CPA and you realize you are too young, then either you can take ACCA or CFA, or even you can do CMA, which is a sort of it's a very nice path from CMA to CPA. CMA you can do in post grade 12. Then after graduation, you can pick up CPA. And if you want to know more about CMA, we've made a mega series video. Go and have a look. We'll put the link in the description for you. So now comes the eligibility part, right? So basically, if CPA can get eliminated if you're in college, and if you're a graduate or above, then once again all the doors are open and you can think in the other ways. Next is what we call the academic structure of these three programs. Let me start with ACCA. By the way, guys, because I have done ACCA, I'll be able to give you the most amount of insights, but we've over time have had thousands of students with CFA, CPA. So if you have any particular doubt, you want to talk to somebody who's actually gone through it, please feel free, reach out. We have an entire team of people who can guide you. Coming back, so ACCA, the academic structure. Now ACCA is split into 3 levels. It's called knowledge level, a skill level and professional level. And there are 13 exams within this. You can complete this entire qualification if you go on track with our speed. You can complete it comfortably in 3 years. You can give 6 papers on average each year. So even a little bit here and there, you can complete it comfortably in 3 years. So if you are in college, you've just given grade 12, your aim should be that you complete ACCA by the time you graduate. Now, the beauty of ACCA is something called exemptions. If you are a graduate, right, out of the 3 levels you can get, it's all subjective to where you studied and all of that, but most students can get the first level exempted. So that means if you are a graduate, you feel you're wasting time, it's okay. You've not really lost time because ACCA is helping you. You can skip the first level, which means almost you can save a year and complete ACCA within 2 years, even post-graduation. So ACCA in terms of time is between 2 to 3 years depending on where you are in your journey. It can take longer. We don't recommend it at all. CFA. CFA itself has 3 levels, level 1, level 2, level 3. All the 3 levels have the same 10 subjects, just with different weightages. Like you can start CFA in your second last year of graduation. On an average, CFA also takes 3 years to complete. So please keep in mind that time frame when you pick up CFA. Next comes CPA. Now CPA has 4 exams. That's all. If you give 4 exams, and because you started a little late, right? You have to start it post-graduation. The advantage is you can give these entire 4 papers within 1 year, again, if you are on track. So remember, guys, that if you're thinking about the time aspect of it, if you are a graduate, then CPA is the fastest. But if you are not, then between ACCA and CFA, they are equal in time. With ACCA, you can get exemptions. But again, time is not my primary recommendation as to how to decide, because the long-term value is going to come through the other points that we are talking about. But a lot of students care about the time, so it's important that you guys know about it. Let's quickly come down to the scope, the value of it. Almost a 10th year at Zell. So in 10 years, I have seen how India has grown when it comes to these qualifications. We have a massive team who helps students connect with companies, and we've had an explosion in the last few years of students as ACCA is wanted by the industry. We've had students who have not completed their full ACCA, don't have any work experience yet, and they are getting hired at a 10 lakh package in a multinational. We have companies rather, multinational companies who have changed their hiring policy to adjust for ACCAs to help them with not only obviously match the work with what you study, but also things like your exam leaves and the pay package. All of that is adjusted. So the market has really embraced ACCA over the last so many years. And because there are thousands of students, and every year we'll end up placing hundreds of them since they're all graduating from ACCA. Companies, of course, earlier it was the big 4, which is Deloitte, KPMG, PwC and EY. But now there's Grant Thornton, BDO, which are the big 6. And then there is a bunch of companies, including Indian companies, including banks. So there's Motilal, there is HDFC, there are multinational companies you might have not heard of like ACES. It just goes on, and how many people are getting hired, and the profiles that you can get hired into audit, into forensic audit, into advisory, accounting advisory, consulting, finance, accounting roles. It just goes on and on. So this is the whole scope improvement when it comes to ACCA. Similarly, I can say it has applied for CFA and CPA. CFA, once again, #1 in finance, been recognized in India and across the world since decades. So you talk about the top finance companies, talk about Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, talk about again Motilal Oswal, Anand Rathi. They're the kind of companies that people are excited to work in the field of CFA. Once again, the pay packages explode. They can start as anywhere from 5-6 lakh and go to 15 lakh, 18 lakh, 20 lakh, depending on the amount of experience you have, as well as if you've completed all the 3 levels or not. Finally, CPA, once again, applicable across all these companies, Big 4, Big 6, banks, and especially American companies. There's Genpact and Capgemini, even Apple and Amazon. Everyone here in India are open to hiring CPAs because it's a US-based qualification. And candidates about it, who've completed CPA, they know about how the US accounting and finance and taxation and audit and rules and regulations, how all of that work. Sometimes you're a chartered accountant, so the pay package can start at 10 lakhs and any number that, depending on you as a candidate, your interview, your company. So this is now regarding the scope, guys. Of course, CFA, CPA both have massive scope overseas, starting with US, but almost any other country because both are US-based qualification. And finally, the fee structure, something that really somehow matters to us as Indians. But once again, guys, I recommend please try your best to not make the decision based on how expensive it is. It is such a short-term thought that you will not be able to, you might feel later that I wish I had done what I really wanted rather than what was cheapest. But once again, let me give you the details. ACCA, on an average, if you do all the 3 levels, it'll cost you between 4 to 5 lakhs spread over 3 years. But if you get exemption from any level, you can reduce the time by 1 year, you can reduce the fees by 1 lakh. So if you've gotten the first level exempted, it'll be between 3 to 4 lakhs, so on and so forth. CFA, similar, it will cost anywhere between 3 to 4 lakhs spread over 3 years. Again, very highly regarded profession. Same ROI, you can make up for it in less than half a year if you get a good opportunity. CFA, not something to worry about too much with cost. CPA, once again, it's very similar, 3 to 4 lakhs, but that you'll have to give within a year. However, because you're a graduate, you might have a little experience under your belt, savings under your belt. I think you can invest in this. A lot of companies are sponsoring, all the 3 qualifications in part, if not full. So if you take advantage of any of that, once again, you can get an opportunity to step up in your career. So these guys are the fee structure. Are very comparable, ROI very comparable, only the time is a little different, and of course, most importantly is the scope. Lastly, a few important details. ACCA, you require 3 years of experience before you're called a member, and the real value picks up as a member. So if you're not very lucky, I had to really work for 3 years in an articleship, CA articleship kind of an environment, before my sort of career took up upward trajectory. But I think it's okay to pay that, go through that grind. Similarly for CFA, you require 3 years of experience before you're known as a charter holder. CPA, you require 1 year of experience before you can become a CPA license holder. It's critical that you understand the work experience part. And like I said, when it comes to scope, after a few years, ACCAs have become founders, CEOs. CFAs, I know people who are CFOs as well as CEOs. So guys, I hope that you get, this gives you clarity on the 3 programs. I hope that if you're confused, between the primary objective, which is my first choice of how you decide, right? I hope these help you make a decision. As always, if you still have any doubts, you can leave it in the comments. We will try to give you a personalized answer to help you with your journey. And as always, if you want to reach out to us, feel free. I'll put all the details down below.